stuff like that. But so let's get some ideas flowing as how we can get the options that you want, reach your goal.
Okay.
So what are some more things that you could do at your show that will help you talk about business more and option, option.
Option. Is it, do you just talk about it more? I don't know. Is it,
so you
I could present it more. I could.
Okay. So you don't, what if you did know? What option would you choose?
Excellent. What else? Like me and my 2-year-old.
What else would you do? Or even, we can even focus on what you are doing now. What could you, if you see yourself doing something differently? Well, no, I'm giving her, because we need to build some of the things that she is doing and she's not getting results from just that.
I know, but when we asked her, what else could you do? And she said, I don't know. We really let her off the hook.
Right.
And maybe she just needs to process. So go back to that. She said, I don't know.
So you said, I don't know. So, but if you did know, what
I could
do?
talk about it more or differently, find a different way to present it.
Yeah, how would you do differently? What specifically would that look like?
That's what I called you for.
That's what I called you for.
If I was, I guess to present it more, I would have to do it more regularly through the show, as opposed to maybe at the beginning and the end, and like to, not like every 10 minutes, but to have kind of a consistent, a flow to it maybe.
So what would that look like? You said you talked about it in the beginning. What, how would you flow it even more? What would that look like?
Find places within my presentation to put it in that it's not already.
Like where, specifically?
Are you on Instagram, Steve?
Yeah, can you tell?
Yes. I don't know.
Well, where are other parts in your show? Okay, so we talked about the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it very at the beginning. Where else is there in your show? I
do a lot of interaction with the guests. What's your favorite recipe? What's your favorite product? Is there something you love? Is there something you hate? So I do a lot of interaction.
Where during that, not to, but where during that specifically, that interaction part, could you talk about the business?
I could find, if they said something that maybe pertained to the business or something that I could tie into it, I could say, something,
like what specifically would they say to you? Like
I don't know it, I haven't done it. God, this is hard. If they said something like, could it be something fun, like, I like the manual food processor because I love salsa, and could I affirm that, like, oh my gosh, I love salsa too, and you know what, when I'm down in Mexico on my Los Cabos trip that I'm earning, I'll be eating chips and salsa margaritas. This is hard, people, this is hard. It's really hard. Okay, all right.
So, don't ask me, could you do that?
Yes. Yes, I could.
Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun?
Can I just tell you, as somebody who just, this is an honest discovery, I know you're thinking how to become an advanced director. That's really exciting. Just so you know. Yes, that's really great. Okay.
Okay, now, at the beginning, let's go back to the beginning. At your story, specifically, how could you expand that a little bit more to get the opportunity out? What could you grow with that?
I'm not very good, and you won't believe this, but I'm not very good when people come into my show about the small talk, the chit-chat, and getting to know them. But if I would do that better, I think I could find their concerns and things that are important to them. And if there's something in my story that ties into that, I can touch on that so that they might be thinking in their head, oh, you know what, I'm in that situation too.
So one option might be then, when you're talking to your guests and getting some ideas, your story isn't going, you're going to focus on how your story can hit their whys.
Yes.
Yes.
Why don't I think of these things when I'm here? Okay, yes. Yes.
So,
I'm a genius.
so that's two things. So we talked about the beginning, the story, during the interactive show. Now, at the end, so what other part, at the wrap-up of your show, what are you saying about the opportunity then? What options do you have to introduce opportunity?
My stealing hearts is toward the end, so it would probably be my wrap-up.
And you're stealing hearts now.
And I can tell you what I don't do. I don't ask.
Okay.
I play the game, and it's a fun game, and they take. I don't invite.
What would you invite? What would you say in that time to invite them?
Well, can I,
Yeah.
You're really still informing,
Okay.
but how could you
Transition?
connect so that
When you do
then
invite?
you can invite? How could you connect?
I could use somebody said it earlier, I'm going to, it's like you give yourself permission to ask later. I'm going to ask you, when you're in your full service checkout, I'm going to ask you about joining my team. And so, this is exciting.
Set yourself up to, from what it sounds like, now you can set yourself up after your ticket or activity or whatever, stealing cards. Now you're going to set yourself up to inform them.
Yes.
That sounds awesome.
Yay! I can cry. This is very exciting to me.
Yeah. So what else can you do at your show then?
So if I did all of that and had that transition at the Stealing Hearts, it would open up the opportunity at the full service checkout for a final invitation and or decision from all of the guests there.
What at your Right. I love that in your full service checkout you asked and you're, are you, who are you asking?
Everybody.
Everyone. So that's awesome. Got that amazing. So when you're asking, I love that you offer the opportunity in the beginning and how you ask that. But how can you, what's something else, that you have an option to.
Think about your word choice.
Yeah, think about your word choice. What's another word choice that you can.
When I'm inviting them?
Right.
You said, did anything I say about,
What about the Pampered Chef inspired you tonight?
Now think about that word choice.
Well, my original word choice, until my little angel in my ear I said, was there anything about the Pampered Chef which invites them to say no? Which I actually haven't gotten, but
about the Pampered Chef.
About the Pampered Chef business opportunity. What? Right. I was finishing your sentence, Virginia. What about the Pampered Chef business opportunity inspired you tonight?
Okay.
Is that?
So that's asking, and that's great, and asking inspiration. But can I give you an option of something else, or of a way, or no, I'm not giving you suggestions.
No, you can. At the end, when she's off the
Another way that I would word exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
No.
Or no, but like.
Play Nancy.
Try not to give you.
Play Nancy. Can I
Is there anything else you can think about that you
can think
could
about?
do? You've thought of great suggestions. Is there anything else you can think of that you want to try to get more recruit, to get
Within
more
that.
interviews, to generate more interest?
Is it wrong if I say no?
No, that's
No, I can't at this particular moment. No.
Okay.
Then
So
may I offer you?
may I offer you a suggestion?
Absolutely.
So you've kind of led in thinking of ways that you can change and add more and build to everything in your show. The one thing during the interview, have you thought about maybe suggesting or asking them when they sit down, so what could you see tonight about this that I did that you could see yourself doing?
Okay.
Where
So it's a word choice.
It's a word choice, or instead of just the inspiration, like really putting them in that situation of sitting there in your seat.
Putting them in the apron.
Yeah, putting them in the apron for them,
Okay.
or what in this situation, what would this job opportunity give to you and your family?
Okay. So now, can you bring the options over here? Now you review all. Let's see. Options. The options? No, you
What
review
will
all
you
the
do?
options. No, the W person. Help me, somebody.
Yeah, what will you do?
What would you do?
Okay, so you review all the options. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you're doing all this, so it's not like you got to figure out who does it. You're doing it all.
I feel like we just written there.
Okay. So you're going to review each option and then ask you which one should be next.
So the options that we just went through to help you increase your recruitment shows are, you want to drip more during your shows. You want to expand your story a little bit at the beginning. You want to expand your story based on the mingling that you're doing before your show.
Right, yes.
Trying to pick up people and connect to them directly. You had a new line to end your Stealing Hearts game.
Yes, a transition, yes.
And then you also were talking about changing up the wording at the beginning of full service checkout.
Right.
That was your option, though, right? Or not yours, but that's
why
Yeah,
it's dash.
that was an option we gave.
Yes. That was,
That
yes.
was an option.
Right, yes.
So which one thing do you want to implement in your next show?
I think the most maybe potent option would be to mingle with the guest. So that, because the thing that motivates people to do what they do a lot of times is a heart tug. And so if I can connect to that at the beginning, the end might fix itself in some shows. And like if I can only do one thing, I think that's probably would be the most powerful thing to do.
So which one was that?
So I'm going to be better about mingling with the guests at the beginning and getting to know them and connecting so that when I do, the official introduction and start of the show, I can hopefully have something in my story that I can help address maybe one of their concerns or more in their life.
That's the one thing you're going to try.
Yes.
So, but she said before that it's something that she's not comfortable doing, so at this point, could I role play mingling with her?
I think that's great.
So that she
Okay.
So
That was
can actually
awesome.
do it?
Yeah, well,
That we could,
in the sense of time, I think that's a great suggestion. Do you feel comfortable doing that? Would you like to practice with me? Excellent suggestion. Thank you. Now, I'm sure you heard other things going on that you would love to tweak or fix or whatever, but you don't want to overwhelm the person, right? You don't want to overwhelm them. And then the last thing I would say is, Amanda, now when's your next show?
It's on Wednesday.
Okay, so your next show's Wednesday. Will you commit to try this at your next show?
Yes.
I can't wait to hear how it goes. I can't wait to hear how it goes. And then, of course, you call Amanda, you talk about it, and you're so excited. How many leads did you get this time? And then you maybe try a few other things. Okay? Did any of you feel, I guess, when we talked about is it a skill, is it a habit, or is it a belief? Anybody thinking, I guess I didn't get the impression that Amanda had a belief problem. We might want to go into that. As I heard her saying the things that she was saying and doing, it sounded more like she just needed a little skill tweaking. A little skill tweaking.
I don't like that.
There's some belief there too, because she didn't believe she could do it until she stood there and did it.
No. You're right.
Well, you know what though? Well, is that honest? Is that true?
It would be because I'm a theater major. I can pretend a lot at a show, but yeah, what it boils down to is I don't particularly like to be wrong or to mess up in public. I know, right? But so John's actually probably right.
You didn't believe you could build a team, or you didn't believe?
Or maybe didn't believe I needed
what it
to.
was is she said in her show after Erin had her say what she would say during her demonstration, she didn't believe she could do that in the beginning of her presentation here.
Okay.
And then she was like, "Oh, I can do it."
Yeah.
So she didn't believe
Yeah.
she had the skill to do it.
And I guess
One thing that is very powerful in your demonstration is telling that woman with her manual food process or whatever, would you see yourself chopping your way in my shoes or something? There's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
To discuss.
And I guess I saw it a little bit differently. To me, I was wondering if there was a belief, but then when I saw that there were some skills, it seemed to me that if Amanda corrected a few skills at her show, the results would happen, and then she would naturally have the belief. But I would have kept that in the back of my mind the whole time. Kept that. Is it a
Maybe
belief?
made a note for the next call.
It was just obvious that there were some skills that we could start working on right away, instead of laying her down on the Yeah, because sometimes you need to get in the back of people's head, but sometimes you don't.